Hello, everybody. I'm very, very sorry about this delay because I thought that technology was my friend, but definitely not today. And again, thank you for being patient and thank you for being with me. And I have to say that I'm very, very honored to have you all here, not just waiting, but wanting to take part in this activity. And hello, everybody. Let's start again. Let's kind of start with what we're supposed to start. And I'm very honored again saying this, that you're not only here to listen to me, but I feel your support. And that's why I keep doing these things. Today, we're going to look at some possible misinterpretations. And it occurred to me once that, let me check the sound. Okay. It occurred to me one day while I was teaching some rules to my students, and my students were pre-intermediate students, and it occurred to me that there are some rules on the page. And then I thought, yes, but I watched something last night and this is not what they said. And then it was a starting point for me. I thought, okay, the rule is one thing, but what they actually say may be another thing. And how to connect these two dots, that was my question. And being a teacher for many years, I've been thinking that the rules are important, but when we make mistakes in the rules, and by rules, I understand the form, as many teachers understand the form. When our students make mistakes, we rush into correcting them. If you look back at yourself and think about how many times you corrected someone when they said, I must go, or he come to help me, or if he will do this. So we hear these mistakes, we understand the mistakes, but if we analyze them, are they about the forms or about the concepts? If somebody says to me, I must go, will I understand this? I definitely will, no problem. And if somebody says to me, he come to help, no problem. So communication happened. So there are mistakes and mistakes out there. And when let's say two people talk to each other, one is a speaker, the other one is a listener. And if a listener gets something like this, he will definitely understand it. So interpretation will happen and happen happily. But there are other things when we say and the listener doesn't understand them. And these things, where do we take them from? Do we kind of take them from the pages, from our course books, or do we take them from other sources? So at this point, I decided to make my own pool. We have some rules, and then we look at the way they use the same rules when they talk. Because when they talk, I'm talking about English-speaking people, when they talk, they don't speak rules. They speak what comes into their heads. And it's our job to listen, to understand, to interpret the way they put these tenses, functions, structures together, and what they say, how this message gets across is crucial. And I have a test with my students. Sometimes when I want to play with them, I say, okay, let's do this activity. And I'm going to try this activity on you. And I don't know if you like it, you can take it and play it with your students. But we've got a lot more activities in different courses. And I run different courses, some courses offline, some, yes, offline is correct, face-to-face, and some courses are on the platform. And there I put a lot more information than I'm gonna share with you now. But anyway, some bits and pieces, some tricks. Let me check how everything works. Okay, this is our first activity. If you look at this apple and beautiful picture, hopefully the beautiful apple. So if you look at this apple, what do you see? And here I give my students some tasks. It's not just look at the apple and enjoy eating it for breakfast. It's not. But when you look at the apple, you may state a fact about this apple. You may show your attitude, thinking about how big it is. You may show your attitude, thinking about how small it is. If you think about one apple for a party, small or big, or one apple for a little baby, small or big. So the apple stays the same. We don't change the product, we don't change the object, but what we say about this object is different. A fact is absolutely different from your attitude. Or a fact is absolutely different from something else. So your attitude, if it is big for a baby, or your attitude when it is small for a baby, or another situation, and I'm very brief here, so I haven't put the whole concept, the whole situation, just bits and pieces, and my students, they kind of get used to the idea of analyzing what they can see. But for you, I will kind of explain it a little bit wider. A situation is I'm at home and my partner is at the shop. And I sent him there because I need one apple. And I'm still at home, but he's still there, not back. And I want a sentence showing this idea. The next sentence I want from my student is, my partner is back from the shop, but he left his shopping list behind and forgot to get the apples. So I want a sentence to show this idea. The next one, I'm not happy with the quantity of good apples around. The next one. So I want a sentence showing that I'm not happy. The quantity, maybe the quality of good apples. Next situation is we are together, you and me, or you and my students. I am at my kitchen. I've got a fridge, but my fridge is closed, so you don't see how many apples are in my fridge. No picture. So I want you to show me this idea. Then I want you to get an unknown number of apples from my fridge. Again, the fridge is closed. You don't know, but I would like you to ask for this unknown number of apples. the next idea or the next situation, you have a habit, or I have a habit, and my or your habit is 1 apple a day. And this is every day. But yesterday was different, and I would like you to put this idea into one sentence. Next one. My recent allergy stopped me from eating apples. It means that it was my habit. But then allergy came along. And again, I want you to put everything in one sentence. Sorry, I'm just checking the messages, because the messages are open in another window. And so, hello everybody again, and again, sorry for late start. And next one, a decision made at the moment of speaking. For example, you want to go shopping, but it wasn't your plan before. So you made the decision at the moment of speaking. Then you can make a sentence promising 1 apple to yourself. Or you can think about the possible results based on a real condition. Again, your apple is the center of your sentence. Or maybe you can talk about an ability to eat apples. So my students have a picture of this apple, and then they have all these ideas. And the test is to put these ideas, each idea, into one sentence. And then we check together what we have. Because as I said earlier, English is a language of communication. And sometimes what we say, not necessarily what the listener hears. And the message gets across somehow differently, because it's fundamentally a long way between a message and a kind of a listener receives it. Sometimes it is shorter. So this is the idea, one picture and many situations about this picture. Then I give them some time, and you can do this test while I was talking to you. You have this time to yourself, maybe to think, okay, how can I show this attitude? How can I show that the apple is small? Now, let's look at some answers. A fact about this apple. This is a red apple. And my students know then we have present simple. This is a fact. There's no attitude. I agree that the apple is red. So the fact is done. Then attitude. This apple is rather big. What is rather here? Rather is your attitude to the apple. Is your attitude positive or negative? It's not positive. It's a little bit negative, because maybe you wanted a smaller one as you ordered it, but this apple is rather big. So rather shows your attitude to the apple. The apple is the same, remember. Next one, the apple is too small. This is the same apple, but your attitude, are you happy? No, you're not happy again, because you wanted it bigger. But this apple is too small for you. Maybe you wanted this apple for 3 people, not enough. And now we're getting to the next one. The apple is not big enough. Again, not enough is your attitude. The fact is that the apple is red. You can't say the apple is big, because it's not a fact. You can't say the apple is small, because this is not a fact. You can describe some factual information using present simple, and you can change this factual information into your attitude information by adding rather to not enough. Again, this is your attitude. If you're not happy with the quantity or the quality, what word helps you to send this message across? Few, very few ripe and delicious apples around. Few gives you an idea that you as a speaker are not happy with what you have. And to show this a little bit unhappiness, you can use few. And at this point, you should excuse me, I don't care what the rule says, because when I read the rules about few, enough, too, rather, not enough, I barely understand what they say there, because they look at this from the form point of view. They say you can say this, you can say this is the form, and then they discourage me immediately because I have no idea how to use this rule. But if a teacher comes to me and gives me something which is tangible and I can look at and I can show my attitude, I probably remember this. Maybe not immediately, but better. Okay, now you don't see the number of apples in my fridge. So remember, my fridge is closed. And the idea is if you don't see something, you should use the ra. And we are all teachers or a kind of advanced learners. And how many times did we learn this rule? The difference between there are and this is, or these are. Until somebody came up to me and said, look, I need something. I need something more than the rule. And then I said, okay, you are in the room. And I point to my phone. Do you see it with your eyes? Yes. Do you need me to say where my phone is? No, why not? Because you see it. So what do I say? This is my phone. And we both see it. But if I don't see the apples in my fridge, maybe they're not in the fridge, maybe they are in the cupboard. So do I need to indicate where they are? Yes. So the place here is not a part of the rule. The place here is logical connection between apples and place. And if I don't give this logical connection, you wouldn't understand where my apples are. And if you indicate that the place is crucial here, you need to say there are some apples in my fridge. So fridge is not a part of the rule. Fridge is a place where my apples are because I don't see them. And now let's look at this lovely picture. I love this. I don't know how to indicate this, but anyway, I'm gonna try and explain this picture to you. This is the universe of apples. All apples in the universe are here inside this picture. All. But I want to show you only a part of all these apples. Little part, big part, it doesn't matter, but only a part. But when the part is not specified, it could be 200 tons, I don't specify how many. Maybe I don't, maybe I can't. But if I use only a part of whatever exists, what do I say? I say some. And this is very easy because, again, we say to people, you can't use some in negative sentences. You can't use these in these sentences. You need to use any in negative or in questions. I don't believe in this rule because I don't understand the rule. What I understand is some is a part of something. If I say, I like some music, some would be only out of the whole music. There would be only some particular types. But if I say to you, I love any music, am I making a mistake? No. I'm just saying that it doesn't matter for me what kind of music. Once I hear the first sound, that's it. So I don't care. I love any music, and any would be any in this little universe. So any is not a part, any is everything or anything. Some is a part. And we will look at this later when we would like some proof to this. So we'll get some from my fridge. How many? We don't know. Important, not important. But do I mean if my fridge is my universe? And this is my fridge, and all my apples of my universe in my fridge. Do I want you to get all of them? No. So what I'm saying by using some, don't get all, get only some parts. If I want you to use all, I can probably change this language, get all the apples from the fridge. So by changing these into all, any, there, these, you indicate exactly what you want to say. What I'm trying to kind of say now is that every time we look at a line from the rule or some sentences, we need to see what the speaker is saying. It's not the rule, it's what he is saying. And this is how we analyze the language, and this is how we interpret it, and this is how his message gets across. And they understand exactly what he means. If somebody says to me, get some apples from the fridge, I take all, the speaker is happy. Not, but it's not that because I didn't know the rule, it's because I confused myself. But, or maybe I want it all. It's another issue. Okay, now remember, talking about my habit, and my habit is again present simple for habit. I eat one apple every day. And then you want some details about my habit, but didn't have any yesterday. And again, when you analyze different bits and pieces of language, you can't analyze everything in one sentence. So I'm not going into any here or every day here. I'm talking here about putting together my habit, which is stable, permanent, done in present simple, which is never present and never simple, and plus one detail, and detail is done in past simple because detail finished in the past as one event. And that's how I check whether my students know how to talk in one sentence about my habit and some details about this. Okay, next one, spontaneous decision. I love this. No problem when I have no apples in my fridge. Spontaneous decision is I'll go and get some. And I would recommend my students to use this chunk because frequently used as a chunk, I'll go and get something, go and get. And spontaneous is I'll, and we never pronounce I will go and get, because once you pronounce will, it's not spontaneous anymore. So spontaneous decision at phonology here. Okay, oh, not many. Good. Now remember, I'm at home, but my partner is at the shop. What is the sentence? He's gone to the shop to get only one apple. Timeline could help you. And in one of my, I have a lovely masterclass, and this masterclass is devoted to analyzing language with timelines and concept checking questions. I'm not going into this area now, but if you are really interested, this is an absolutely fantastic masterclass. I love it. It's my favorite. I've got 6 so far. It's not easy to produce a good one, but analyzing language and concept checking questions with timelines everything is there. So if you think that you need this, not everybody thinks this way, but if you think that you need it, cheap and cheerful and on the platform, ready to go, on the shelf, ready-made. And we say it's a kind of model bespoke courses. Okay, so he's gone to the shop. Is he with me? No, he's not. Where is he? In the shop, still there. But the period of time, at this point, he left home and the period of time is still on, and present perfect number one is period of time not finished. He's gone, he's there, and some concept checking questions will probably help you. But the idea here is not analyzing the language. The idea here is what they say and what they mean by saying this. And here, he's not back. Maybe I'm not happy about this, but he's not back. No apples in my fridge. Next one. He's been to the shop. Is he back? Yes. So completely different. If you think about the form is the same, but the message is crucial. It's completely different, because if you look at the form, you can't understand the difference, but it's the same period of time. And the period of time is not finished. Even he is back and his activity is finished, and you can see half of the apple maybe. He didn't get a single apple, so I'm still here being angry with him. He is back, but I'm still thinking about this period of time because no apples. And looking at no apples as a kind of result, I put period and result together, and I say he's been to the shop as a kind of complaining to someone, didn't get a single apple. And again, you've got general information and you've got some details. Remember, we have details in past simple. We have details in past simple here as well. Didn't get is past simple. Details about general information. General information here, he's been to the shop. Details, no apples. So let's go again. Another idea, remember, recent elegy started somewhere here. Before that time, absolutely no problem. And I add apples every day. But at this point, up to now, see, the period is still on. I haven't eaten any apples since my allergy started. And again, the idea is crucial here and completely different from the above, still present perfect. Okay, let's go on. I promise to myself. How do I indicate a promise? I will, and I pronounce will in a different way from I'll go. I'll go, I don't pronounce. And that's how we teach our learners to understand language. And once they understand language, they stop making mistakes. So once they hear I'll, he'll, she'll, that's a spontaneous decision. But if they hear something I will or you will, that's not a decision anymore. That's a promise, a threat, an order, or a lot of things, not going into this area, not yet. And again, if you are interested in a whole range of future, and they don't have future, they've got other ways to express future. And if you are interested in how to analyze present perfect, all events, past simple, conditionals, a lovely area, but we don't teach them as conditionals, we teach them from the practical use. Practicality comes forward. So I've got I'm not selling anything, but I do believe that here I have people who's done my courses, and even if there is only one who's done this course, that's good. So you probably understand what I'm talking about. I've got a very, very good, a serious one. It's like, you know, my diploma advanced grammar course, and there are 20 lessons there, video lessons. Each lesson is based on a real video where we analyze what they say, why they say, how they say it, and what we understand when we listen to them. It took a lot of effort, believe me, because authentic material, it's difficult to find a good one, because you need to have everything in the mix. You have to put everything on the plate, and I'm thinking one dialogue for each lesson. So if you're interested in this idea, how to analyze and how to kind of check the rules against what they say, there's a course for you, Advanced Grammar, on our website. And after we finish this webinar, you can visit our website or use my Instagram or Telegram, ask me direct questions. Promise to answer them after a cup of coffee. Okay, so Will here as a promise to myself. If I say to you, I will see you, I will see you, you change the lexemes here. So it's not a promise anymore, it's an order, a threat. If you think about this, a possible result based on a real condition. What is real condition here? A real condition is you eat 1 apple a day. The condition is real, yes. Remember, I have apples in my fridge. So for me, this condition is very real. And if and I indicate this condition, and I indicate the condition is real by using if plus present simple. And the result is also very real. You do this, you have this, you change the condition, you change the result. And this is the rule. You need to understand that conditionals are not about you have this in past simple or present simple or perfect. The conditionals are about what you actually say and what you understand. And again, the conditionals are in my advanced grammar, we will look, and again, and masterclass, yes, about analyzing language. I did a lot of sentences, analyzing conditionals, half conditionals, mixed conditionals, what we mean when we say them. Okay, and the last one is physical ability. And physical ability is can. I'm not talking about other uses, it's just what I want to concentrate. Now, for my students, and let's imagine you're my students, we've done this lovely journey into describing this apple. Oh, something happened to my apple. See, describing. And now I would like us to watch the 2 clips. We watch to them, one after the other. And then I have already taken some sentence on the some sentence. Remember some? I have already taken some sentences from these clips. So we watch them together again here, because if you didn't watch them before, you probably won't you will be lost a little bit. If you have watched them, no problem, we do it again together. But again, you will have them in this video. We watch them one after the other. The first one is a little interview with Leonardo DiCaprio, and the other one is a short dialogue taken from a series New Pope. It's a dialogue between current Pope and before what to be Pope. And again, I'm not going to go into details. It's not a listening, it's for my student, it's a kind of something they have already done, but we're checking some ideas while listening. Let's try indicate if there is no sound. So the first one, let's say, okay, let me check where is my first one. Okay, give me a second. Oh, okay, here you are. Okay, here we go.
Lerman cast him as the lead in Romeo and Juliet back in 1996. Now they're at it again. And I caught up with Leo ahead of the movie's world premiere. In New York's historic Plaza Hotel, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Hello,
Leo. Ali, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for having
a
modern-day, old-style Hollywood actor.
I look at being an actor as an incredible opportunity. I think that it's almost like winning the lottery in a lot of ways.
Hollywood breeds a lot of stars, but there are very few great actors. Do you see yourself in that small elite group?
I would never say something like that.
I'm the king of the world!
At 38, Leonardo has already played an impressive and diverse cast of characters.
Gosh, they're lovely.
From heartthrob to villain.
Why? No why as ever. You understand? You don't know what this is like.
DiCaprio has backed up his good looks with serious acting prowess.
But now you have my attention.
Now he's taking on one of the gigantic characters of 20th century American literature.
Who is this Gatsby?
The Great Gatsby.
See, you were there all along. And every idea, every decision.
It's perfect.
This is one of the most celebrated novels in the world. It is, you know, arguably the greatest American novel.
Was it intimidating playing Jay Gatsby?
You know, everyone has their own connection with this book, and so you're almost setting yourself up for disaster in a lot of ways.
Look here, what's your opinion of me anyhow?
Invariably, there'll be comparisons with the last time Hollywood took on the celebrated novel by F. Scott Fitzgerald,
You can't repeat the past.
when Robert Redford played the leading role.
You can't repeat the past. Of course you can.
You can't repeat the past.
Expectations are huge, not only for DiCaprio,
Why, of course you can. Couple steps back, walk into
but also for Australian director Baz Luhrmann.
I knew that I had to do it because it's always relevant, that book, but it was particularly relevant now. Got it? Let's go. The 20s was a period, a golden orgy of money, you know. Women's skirts went up, skyscrapers went up, you know, everything was going up. The stock market was going up. And it looked like, you know, aeroplanes, cars, it would never fall. But Fitzgerald, in his book, which is published in 25, he predicts it's all going to crash.
It's a strange coincidence.
The movie is set in 1920s New York,
Where are you kids going?
Long Island, please.
but it was filmed in Harbourside, Sydney. And while in Australia, Leonardo attracted as much attention for his romantic pursuits as his acting efforts.
I'm quite used to that kind of stuff. I didn't find it hard at all.
It doesn't bother you?
You know, look, I mean, we were shooting a major production in Australia, and there wasn't really anything that horrible said. I think that, you know, I think that people were very
to the tabloids,
excited.
your hotel room was a revolving door for every, you know, hot young thing in town.
Wow, you can't believe what you read. The truth.
You're a nice boy.
Am I a nice boy? I suppose that's subject to interpretation.
Maybe he could say table's ready there and get my attention so I could...
Gatsby is the latest collaboration between DiCaprio and Luhrmann.
Absolutely.
It is the East, and Juliet is the sun.
They first worked together when Leo was a baby-faced teenager in Romeo and Juliet.
He was a boy. Now, he's a man. And he's a man fully in control of his powers as an actor. But I think there are a few people on the planet who have had his life, you know. I can work with, a technician, a director of photography. He can be 60. And you still know that Leonardo has spent more time on film sets than that person. Because Leonardo was on film sets since he was a 6-year-old.
You know, the truth is that I remember saying as a very young kid, I want to become an actor.
This is a chunk of super soft bubble yum bubble gum.
And that's single-mindedly what he did, scoring his first roles in a number of commercials.
Put on the yum is the fun that never blows out.
Before making a break into feature films.
And I will do it. Kill Archer. Kill Archer.
And just said to myself, one day, hopefully, I'll try to do something as good as these great heroes that I want to emulate.
Many child actors do go on to become cautionary tales. They get caught up in booze, drugs.
You know, I think that it's never been something that that I've gravitated towards, really. I think I've gotten to be able to pursue my own dream, and it's something that, you know, I have a greater amount of respect for. So that's been really my main focus.
That focus paid off big time when he starred as Jack Dawson in Titanic alongside Kate Winslet. It was a role that made DiCaprio a global superstar.
I saw that in the Nickelodeon once, and I always wanted to do it.
Flying!
Titanic is what really put you on the map, yet ever since then you seem to be avoiding the romantic leading roles. Why is that?
I don't think I've ever avoided them so much as I never question what I'm subconsciously attracted to as an actor. It's never been an aversion to doing a love story or any genre of movie. I'm happy to try anything. I just sort of subconsciously gravitate towards subject matter, and I never question why, and I just go for it.
My life has got to be like this. It's got to keep going up.
In a notoriously superficial industry, Leo has kept the same tight circle of friends since he was a boy, including his co-star in The Great Gatsby, Tobey Maguire.
Your friends all say that you're very normal. Is that true?
That's
Well, once again, normal's
that's
relative.
up to an interpretation as well, isn't it? I'm sure some people would look at me in my life and say it's not normal, and other people might say it is. I don't know.
I mean, for instance, do you cook?
I do cook, yes. Just, it takes a long time to make a good dish. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, to actually make something that tastes good takes a lot of effort.
He is one of the world's most eligible bachelors, and it appears unlikely he'll be giving up the bachelor lifestyle anytime soon.
When are you going to settle down?
Oh,
Kids and marriage.
I would never answer that question.
Is it on the cards one day?
I'm sure it will be.
Well, I'm just going to say, you're not getting any younger, Leo, you know, 38.
That's true. That's true.
He is a rambunctious sword, ain't he?
This is an actor at the top of his game,
Even got an offer from Al Capone to help pay the ransom money, but
who can pick and choose his roles.
whatever I do, I can't change this moment.
He keeps his counsel to his inner circle.
Stupid, huh? Well, I guess that leaves me out.
And appears utterly unfazed by how anyone judges him.
She never loved you. You see, she loves me.
Look, I strive to be the best actor I can be, and whether I've achieved that is always, you know, up to the audience and critics to decide. I don't have any power over that, and that's the one thing about making movies that's always frightening and exhilarating, is that you can go into it with the best possible intent, work as hard as you possibly can, and people, for whatever reason, may just disconnect with the movie, and you're powerless to that. You really are. All you can do is really show up on set and, you know, work as hard as you possibly can, and that I can say that I do.
Okay, that was one video, and while watching, I was reading some comments, and yes, he's absolutely fantastic. He's a bit older today, but still DiCaprio, we still love him. And I've chosen this interview because he used a lot in one interview, in one kind of dialogue, and talking about himself, and even some questions were there. And what we can do now, we can look at some ideas taken from this Yeah, okay, where is okay, Leo. So nice to meet you. I put it here because sometimes even we've come across this, how we say hi, a lot. But when it comes to actually saying something to someone, all my students say, oh my God, what do I say? What do I say? And that's why I always pick up on something which is crucial as introduction, as saying hello, saying goodbye, something which is natural to them and something we can kind of put in our pool. So nice to meet you is what he said, and that's we all should if we want to be like him. Remember, another good line, I look at being an actor. So when we look at some rules and we can say, I look back when I was an actor, which is not a mistake. And again, remember the topic for today is a kind of a definite conclusion, what is a mistake and what is not. So you can actually say, I look back at myself when I was an actor, and it is an incredible opportunity, but it is too long. No. How can we make it shorter? By looking at what he said. So we can analyze this with our students. Again, I didn't put everything to work upon when we were dealing with our apple, but I decided to draw attention to some fresh ideas. And again, I do this all along in my advanced grammar course, again, 20 lessons, and we look at different tenses and functions and how they play together in one dialogue. Remember, few and few, happy, unhappy, unhappy, attitude, unhappy. There are very few great actors. And she's definitely not happy about this. And if you don't know that few is a kind of some element of unhappiness, you wouldn't get this. What is this? I would never say something. We're not talking about conditionals here, we're talking about something. Think about the rule. It says negative, when you have negative, anything. I would never say anything like that, or something. Both are possible. What do you think? But what do we have here? Something. As a kind, alongside with the rule or against the rule, it's for us to check, if you like. The truth is, I remember saying, that's another good way of kind of looking at what he says. The truth is absolutely fantastic way into the idea of more is coming. And more is, I remember saying, and here is a kind of remember to say, remember saying, what is the difference? Here, which one is about the past? This one is about the past, and this one is about the future. So that's how we kind of check the idea of talking about the past using continuous and talking about the future or now. Remember to buy something that's about the future. Our favorites. It's never been something I gravitated towards. And again, if you look at never, what is never? Is this lifetime? Yes. If we go back to our idea of a timeline, never is lifetime and no experience. But I want to draw your attention to something because you have never, again, plus something or anything. But he said what he said, meaning what? Meaning what we talked about. I'm happy to try anything from our universe is literally anything, not something, because if he says I'm happy to try something, it means that out of the universe, and universe is a kind of pool of his roles. Happy to try something, meaning that there are some restrictions. Here, do we see any restrictions? No. So do we have the proof that you can use anything, meaning absolutely no problem, whatever comes? Yes. I never question And what I'm attracted, habit, yes, we were talking about having some habits, and habits done with present simple. Again, we need some proof that they do actually say this. Do you cook? I put this here because that's how I teach my students to interpret any listening. If they hear do, and then a subject, and then a verb, it's a question to reflect. Do you, does he, they want some information from you. What kind of information? Comes later, but once you hear do you, they want information. They're not asking anything, they're not offering anything. The listener, they want information, and this information is put in one do you. And here we have I do cook, the same do, completely different. Here we have an intensify. We intensify cook. Possible to say I cook, but it takes a long time to make a good dish. Wouldn't you agree? Again, not talking about this now, but absolutely fantastic. And I did a lot of work analyzing this in my other courses. So do cook is intensifier, but we need a verb immediately after do. That's how we make this difference. This is an actor at the top of his game. Do we see Leo sitting in front of us? Is she talking about him and we see him? Yes. Can we say there is Leo? No, because we are in the same room with him, because we can actually in the room with her and with him, and she's talking, pointing to him, saying this is an actor about him, but he's in the room. I can pick. Can is an ability, and there were other elements of using can in this interview, but you can always go back and pick up on something you love. But we are going to watch our next episode, very short one, taken from New Pope, indicating there is no sound.
Oiello called me. They make contact. They sought us out. They're afraid. They claimed it wasn't them. They're bluffing, naturally. This is the confirmation that it was them.
Are you a charlatan? Are you a guru? Are you a saint? Are you the devil? Are you the Messiah? Are you Christ? Are you God? It doesn't matter, Lenny. I am the Pope. For me, you are a priest, nothing more. And you will show me perfect obedience as all priests do. For that is all we know. That is the church. And we answer for the church.
Your Holiness, you are exactly right. I'm wrong. If you continued to listen to me, I would continue to make mistakes. I'll withdraw to my...
Let me check, because there's some comments. There is no video, but I would like to kind of show you the actual video, not only the sound. Let me try again. Hopefully we'll see it. Okay. Try again.
Oiello called me. They make contact. They sought us out. They're afraid. They claimed it wasn't them. They're bluffing, naturally. This is the confirmation that it was them.
Are you a charlatan? Are you a guru? Are you a saint? Are you you the devil? Are you the Messiah? Are you Christ? Are you God? It doesn't matter, Lenny. I am the Pope. For me, you are a priest, nothing more. And you will show me perfect obedience as all priests do. For that is all we know. That is the church. And we answer for the church.
Your Holiness, you are exactly right. I'm wrong. If you continued to listen to me, I would continue to make mistakes. I'll withdraw to my tower for the rest of my life, and no one will ever see me again.
No, you will not withdraw. You will show yourself to the world, and you will say what I did not have the courage to say.
Will you be at my side, Your Holiness?
No. The moment I have always longed for has finally arrived.
What moment?
When I fulfill my one and only ambition, to be forgotten.
But you are the Pope.
No. I am a fragile piece of porcelain. But I have finally understood that my fragility is my strength, not my damnation.
What are you gonna do? Will you return home?
I will return to myself.
Okay, thank you. And we're back to our game and look back and analyze only a couple of things I picked up on. This is the confirmation it was there. All along, it's a kind of interesting idea. They claimed, claim was a kind of lexical idea. It wasn't them. If you look at this, how lovely. It was them again. But this is the confirmation. They are actually talking about this confirmation, and it is there on the plate, and that's why to name it, you can say this is the confirmation. You will show. And here, it's a kind of an order or a threat, and will is pronounced like this. You continue to listen to me, I'll continue to make mistakes. A possible result here based on a real condition, but if we go back to the dialogue, his spontaneous decision comes immediately straight after this, and he said, I'll withdraw. So spontaneously, no plan. You will show yourself, will say as a kind of order or threat, what I didn't have the courage to say. Again, details, remember, we were talking about putting details in past simple, and it doesn't matter what comes before. There was present perfect, present simple. Here we have some order or thread, but still details are in past simple. And it's actually very interesting because when we're talking about details, and if you remember the rule, when we use past simple, can we use past simple without a kind of time indicator? The rule says no, absolutely not. Where can you see here? Indicator, like yesterday, I didn't have the courage to say no. Is this a mistake? Absolutely not, because in the speaker's head, he knows exactly when and how he did this. So sometimes it is in the bigger context, sometimes it is just in his head. So when we say something like this, it must be there, but it must be either in the sentence or in the head, and we don't utter everything in one sentence. So no mistakes again. but no time indicator. The moment I've longed for has finally arrived. Remember, we were talking about present. Actually, if you notice, present perfect is the most frequently used tense. And all along, we keep teaching present simple and present continuous. I mean, if you come to my course and we analyzed a whole range of everything, present continuous is hardly ever used. Maybe once or twice, if you think about this, but we spend years and years teaching this, putting absolutely kind of far-fetched examples. But the most tense is still present perfect. What are you going to do? I would recommend to use this as a kind of one chunk. And it means if you have a plan, tell me about this. So this is your plan, but I don't know this. Tell me. Will you return home? Will is prediction based on common sense. That's another good way of using will. And again, I will return to myself. It's not a spontaneous decision because the will is stressed. It's a promise to himself. I'm going to stop here because my plan was to go for 1 hour. I understand how busy we all are, and even an hour would give us an opportunity to share ideas, and I did my job. Thank you for being with me, and feedback would be very much appreciated. If you get some insights and share them with me, if you kind of tag me in your Instagrams, I would be very happy. That would be lovely. And I'm going to say that every year, and only once a year in December, I run face-to-face workshops. It's a whole day workshop where we analyze different things. So this year, 17th of December, it is in our website, 17th of December in Moscow. And if you are in Moscow, or you may come, you may fly, there will be a kind of a perfect excuse for you to come and join us. So I will be running grammar workshop where we'll look at different aspects of future, present, perfect, continuous, analyzing exactly the way we did now, but maybe working together, playing together, sharing ideas, networking. I have to say that we lost this kind of idea of networking. In the past, I used to go and do this here and there, but now we are back to kind of screens. So 17th of December, I will be running one and only one day and only once a year. So next year, they will be next December. So there are still some places. It's not expensive. I mean, if you think about this, and you're very, very welcome. I would love to kind of work with you. A lot of courses, face-to-face courses, are kind of stopped now, and we lost this opportunity to communicate, and we'll promise we will be communicating in English. So ask questions. There is still time to register. There are still places there, and on top of this, till Monday, there is a discount for you. Thank you very much. It's been lovely to kind of be with you and see you when I see you. And if you go to our website, and there are different masterclasses, different courses, have a look, ask me. I will kind of help you to choose if you want. Again, thank you.